welcome to another edition of XFeed. What's up? My name is The Shiller. We talk about the space. Some things that are fun, some things that are not fun. And listen, you woke up today and you might have seen certain coins going absolutely crazy. Very interesting times. Excited to cover all the news and everything else with you. So this morning we dropped episode number 64 of the RWA Segments podcast. This was a session that I did with Adam Gomez, who is one of the co-founders of Portals. While we're on the topic of Portals, let's take a gander and look at what exactly that is, because I feel that I've talked about things before and it's like, you know, we're online, we can show a screen, just show what it looks like. So the likes of Nifty Island, the likes of the Sandbox, the likes of Otherside, the likes of Readyverse, a metaverse world, a metaverse experience that is out there. But this one is on Solana. So when you look at the graphics, when you look at the vibe of it, you have to say, is this something that I'd be interested in playing? And this is something that we go down from all gaming experiences, but create, play, and monetize right from your browser. And within the conversation I had with Adam, we brought up certain points, excuse me, like the fact that we are having a lot of problems within the gaming industry where we're seeing a lot of people closing up shop. And do we have a future where these metaverse experiences are where people create and those that are wanting to create games try to do something within a specific world because there's already a player base there. There's already a way to monetize that existence. So again, if you want to check that out, it's just browser based. But the clip that I'll share with you from this podcast was about the gaming industry struggling, the crypto gaming industry, and this is what he had to say on it.
Yeah, I won't harp on this too much. I think just quickly on the crypto scene, what happens still in crypto, unfortunately, is a lot of incentives that don't make sense. So even a lot of the funding that goes into funding crypto projects is with the wrong incentive system set up. You will have, and I think the industry, especially in the games world, which is new, a lot of video game companies tried experimenting with crypto and, hey, somebody wants to give us funding to make a crypto game, let's try that out. But that has kind of gone pretty wrong. There's been a very low hit rate in terms of companies that were kind of in the crypto space receiving funding. And a lot of it is because crypto VCs are funding. They're funding things in the same way that sort of a short-term trader is funding things. Like if you're trading crypto, a lot of where the volume ended up going is like meme coins, and it's sort of this speculative craziness. It's based on a narrative, what is getting traded. And a lot of crypto VCs, like and people coming into crypto for the first time didn't realize this, was that crypto VCs, by and large, there's a quote from I don't know if you've heard of Merck. He's one of the guys on crypto Twitter that built Helios, and which powers basically every app on Solana. But he was sort of cautioning founders, 90% of crypto VCs are not real VCs. They're a guy with 2 blog posts who's essentially just trying to trade tokens. And I think a lot of people have been burned by that because
so maybe all the VCs that are in the space are not that great, and some of the crazy funding rounds that we saw before in certain collections that seemingly had nothing to follow up for that. Was it the teams behind it? Was the VCs actually being sort of shady? Or is it the fact of VCs pushing these teams to hit certain heights or do certain things and yanking funding? These are the questions. But if you're wanting to hear more of that, again, the link's down in the description below, or if you look up on any podcasting platform, RWA Segments. Raymond, what's going on? Morning, back to the good PFP I see. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. So the conversations that we're seeing here is about these metaverse worlds. Let's keep on that trend for a second. So Adam Wheatsman, who's been this big Yuga supporter, spending like millions of dollars as of late. To kick off Otherside, I would create on it the greatest treasure hunt of all time. Codas, Apes, Heavy Metal, Moonbirds, Meebits, Pudgies, etc. could all participate. First prize would be an epic punk from their vault. So this is sort of funny because if you're familiar with Featureverse or Readyverse, they've been building up for a while this The Hunt aspect. And for people that participated within those worlds. They did like a massive root token drop for people that were on like the early access with it, which was super cool. But back to the esports, the gaming prizes, the how are we going to market these games and get attention? Well, if you have all these valuable assets that people could get for free, well, that's something to notice. Now, within Otherside, they have this Bathroom Blitz game right now, and something that I'm going to share for transparent reasons, we've seen continuous times within Metaverse yielding experiences, gaming, the play to earn, various problems, almost no matter what game that it is. And so here's something talking about what's going on with the Bathroom Blitz. Not gonna lie, I started playing Bathroom Blitz because I love the other side and I want to see the other side win. Of course, I was going to support its first activation, plus I love shooter games and I love playing with my friends here at the Bored Ape Yacht Club. But I really hate these leaderboards. I just want to play. I could care less about all these rewards and farmers. It's tiring playing with lobbies with 7 AFK players farming soaps, rat traps, AFK kicks, running into acid pings, etc. Leaderboards are supposed to show off talent and encourage people to do their best, not do their worst. So allegedly, there's people that are like going around and like just having these accounts that aren't doing anything, and then they can go up and kill them. And this is something that happens no matter what, right? And the teams will come out and say, hey, we're not rewarding these certain players or we're going to change this. But ultimately, this does kind of have a stain on a lot of these crypto games because we keep saying, hey, we're just in it for fun. We want to do that. But also, they're still trying to find certain ways of incentivizing early access or gameplay or these leaderboards in terms of competitiveness. And there always seems to be little loopholes that come through. So again, first time seeing about it, probably something that's going to get cleaned up, but does plague the Web3 or crypto gaming industry. Specifically, an Axie Infinity Genesis plot just sold for 16 ETH or $68,600. Is that because they think something is going to be happening within Axie Infinity, or do they think, hey, this is just a historical NFTs, which I might add, nobody really talks about that component of it, right? We just say historical NFTs, and 9 times out of 10, it is like an avatar or something that is not part of like a gaming ecosystem per se. What happens if there's a historical shift on blockchain gaming being this whole new genre and people go and suddenly appreciate ones from back in the day? That'll be interesting to see. And that was just a post from earlier. So Wendy O, who is a crypto content creator, you might have seen her on the timeline or on YouTube, etc., or potentially over on Facebook. Up 200,000 views on Facebook since last week. Retail is here. You just aren't looking in the right places. And it is true that I think we forget that there is a complete different audience that's outside X, that's outside, she's referencing Facebook, that's outside Facebook for people to post on there, that's outside YouTube, that's outside Twitch, that's outside Abstract Streaming, that's outside Kick, that's outside any sort of news. Right? Like there's audiences all over the place, and you never know where people are going to consume crypto, but very interesting just on a general basis there of how much the Facebook has taken off. But let's talk about crypto and live streaming. John Wang says crypto and live streaming won't get product market fit via meme coins. There is this realm right now where you can create a token and then you stream. And the idea is if like the stream's entertaining, you like it, people go out and buy it. And I've had people that reached out and kind of offered similar sort of things, which obviously we don't have the 200,000 minimum on Facebook. That's a single app for Wendy O or anything. And it's just always, it feels bad. You know what I mean? Like I get the concept of memes and everything, but I'm like, okay, well, what if for whatever reason I stop streaming or I am not entertaining or the token does poorly, but we do well. And then you have people that are really mad that the token didn't do well. And then you're like, well, hold on. I guess they made their own decision to buy a streamer token. And it feels weird. I think like inherently it just feels sort of odd. And so that's what John's saying here. But they think that it will be for prediction markets which end up hitting. So if we're out playing a game, trying to go on release, I don't know, new exciting game, the new Call of Duty comes out, how many kills does a certain person get within 10 hours? How do they tell for that prediction? It's right. It's not necessarily about them, where there's people that are talking about massive political events or concerts. I mean, in Toronto, Lil Wayne was in New York, posts on Instagram that he's in a bed in New York smoking, right? So that's in a hotel. That's already a red card. But they say that he's sick. And all these people drove out to Toronto, potentially from hours and hours away, flew in. They brought everybody into the arena, sold all the drinks, the merch. Then we're like, yeah, Lil Wayne's not showing up. Can you imagine if you were able to predict on if celebrities would show up to their concerts or not? Would that be entertaining? I think it'd be a little bit more interesting than the likes of just saying, hey, there's a meme coin, we're streaming. Yeah. Importantly, everyone on crypto Twitter calls it Web3 gaming. In quotes, crypto gaming is what the mainstream calls us. Crypto gaming. We have to remember we're calling this crypto gaming. This is new outside our interest, and it's about to convert to monthly active users in droves. So the gaming market cap kind of okay, crypto game is he's showing that we're seeing a little bit of movement. I see what Robbie's doing there. And again, Immutable is apparently doing some like world-breaking announcement today. So announcement, as of today, Immutable Play is now open to all games, including those from Web2. The first studio to join will be Ubisoft. When we launched Play last year, our goal was to solve the biggest problem for games, growing an audience. Since then, we've scaled to 5.6 million plus wallets and helped dozens of live games find their users. Okay, that's cool. I don't actually know what the hell Immutable Play is. Like, is this a big announcement that he touted for? I guess so. Yeah, tomorrow will be a very important announcing something we expect will bring more players to Web3 than anything Immutable has done before. Okay, so we label it announcement. Does it explain what it is? As we've grown, so is the demand for Web2 games. The studios spend over $300 billion a year on pre-launch user acquisition. And seeing how much more efficient and retentive our reward strategy is, they've inevitably wanted to get involved. See, this is a big thing, right? We're seeing multiple different ecosystems trying to have rewards of some sort that are sustainable, having users. Back to the point we brought up at the beginning of the episode for Portals, right? If you're going to try to create a game, you're going to go through have to do all the steps. But if you have a raving community about the product already, and Otherside, sort of the same thing, right? We're seeing so many people out there trying the game just because it's associated to something that's a bigger entity. From today, all games that meet our quality bar can reward their users through Immutable Play. This will give our players access to some of the biggest franchises in the world. It will bring their multi-million user bases to our ecosystem, where they'll discover our existing games. Every game that uses Immutable Play is one step closer to adopting Passport, creating NFTs, and launching a token. And so, again, we're seeing with Featureverse a very similar thing called Pass. This is how we soft onboard the next 10,000 games from Web 2. I still don't get, like, what the hell Immutable Play is. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the whole announcement was for anybody that's aware of what that is, but anybody that doesn't know, it's just like, well, what does that mean? So let's converse again on the intellectual property component. And maybe this is the only thing that matters for having a career, revenue long term. Think of places that people want to get entertained and what the cost is around it. For an airline, having movies. Crunchyroll has partnered with Delta Airlines to allow passengers to watch anime during flights on seatback screens will include 50,000 episodes. If you don't know what Crunchyroll is, think of your Netflix, your Crave, Disney Plus, but specifically for animes, that's what it's about. And so what other airlines want to get on there for Crunchyroll? I mean, that doesn't sound like, why the hell would this be an exclusive one? You're going to go and try to ship it wherever it is. So you take it one step further and you're like, all right, we're one of the IPs that are on here. One Piece is a huge show and they did an anime, right? Like a show. They did a comic or a manga, I should say. And then they also did a live action. So I've read the comic. I've seen the anime, the first episode. Let's focus on just like the opener, the pilot. And then Monkey D. Luffy, hell yeah. And then I watched the live action. And I had such an emotional attachment to the characters within the anime and the mangas. Watching the live action was the strangest thing ever. The style in which they did it was like fast paced. The whole thing felt like sort of weird, but I knew the story, right? And what I'm trying to get to, and something that I've mentioned before, and I feel like it doesn't make sense until you sort of see it. Your favorite stories, all they need to do to continue to be relevant or have people continue to buy stuff around it is just create the content that people love and have it in different filters. So what if the One Piece world can turn into a gaming experience of sorts? I don't think that exists right now, or if it does, it's on a much smaller scale. And how easy would it be with the different AI tools that are out there? And then thinking, okay, for the digital collectibles and marketplaces, how much could One Piece get off of the marketplace fees for that? And how easy would it be if you build one of these experiences on something that already has a user base, that you can introduce new people to the IP, potentially get every other avenue that you're going for being a part of it? I think IP is going to be like one of the most important things in the next few years. I really, really do. There's a TCG for One Piece. Exactly. We'll bring that game online, have new users that are out doing that. And we're seeing bigger and bigger brands come into the Web3 space. So Immutable, they're doing stuff with Ubisoft, right? So that studio seems like it's content with what's going on with Ubisoft. And every brand is going to pick a different chain, a different team, a different network to build on. And some of them are going to end up building on their own rails, which we'll get to in a second. But big news, PFL MMA, the professional Fighters League, 1.1 million followers on X, has launched a PFL Rewards, a new fan loyalty experience inside their global app. And behind the scenes, it's powered by Pass, enabling fans to unlock status badges as NFTs without even knowing they're using Web3. No. I lied, Corwin. Red card. No, it's not. Oh, you're saying imagine One Piece and Ubisoft. Sorry, I thought I led into reference that they were partnered because I was like, man, we got to figure out what's going on Immutable if that was the case true. I agree. And that's some though, because it's gonna get people's attention. And so people that are interested in the Fighter League, okay, I've been going on and on about Inter Miami and the Major League Soccer, right? Like Major League Soccer has MLS Quest, okay? MLS Quest has not done anything that I've seen. So they have these badges. Again, I'm a big fan. We go and we look at packs as an example. 2024 postseason performance pro pack, $10. $10? Sure, I'm down. $5 for a starter pack. 2024 early supporter pack. Are these things all available? What the hell? So I don't even know if these have sold out. They haven't launched anything since 2024. Their X account continues to post about MLS play. So clearly they still have the right. But like, hello, somebody from the Futureverse team, let them know this is going on. Because I feel like this is something super easy to end up acquiring. I don't know what's going on. Again, like they have the friggin' final from last year that's highlighted on here. Or not even a final, excuse me. This is just a regular season game between the two LA clubs. That's on Sweet, isn't it? Not Dapper. Yeah, correct. So Dapper has gotten like a lot of the major sports IPs, but this one is over on Sweet. And I think, NHL Breakaway. And again, is it the fact that it's on Sweet? Is the marketing teams and people behind it? Are the leagues not pushing this out? Why isn't this really gotten any sort of attention? I mean, you can go over to the marketplace here and like see. So if we go to like low to high, you can buy stuff for $2. You can buy a lot of stuff. You can buy a lot of stuff for $2. Holy smokes. You can buy almost everything for $2. We keep scrolling. How far can we go? Oh, it doesn't even stop. So it's just like all done in one web page. Which if we filter and go to, I don't know, Legendary, nobody even has anything listed for that. Phenomenal. Love to see it. So when the hell is anything going to happen with this? But back to the point at hand, these big brands that are coming through, what exactly does it look like? With 650 million fans across 160 countries, PFL MMA wanted to bring them closer to the action every day, not just on Fight Night. And here are the rewards. And this is on the App Store and Google Play. So the fact that they don't know that it has anything to do with Web3 is irrelevant, because most people seem to still hate crypto. Here's a spicy post for you. But back to the point of people that have such a big IP, that have such a big name, that have such a big market share of whatever industry they're in, deciding, instead of going with something established, we're going to figure out how to do our own thing. Stripe decided to build their own blockchain, which was the big news of the day yesterday. So did Tether, Circle, JP Morgan, Robinhood, Kraken, and Coinbase. No serious company will touch Ethereum L1. Now, we're going to have to give a red card for that, because I feel like that's not entirely true. But it's very interesting that we're continuing to see the biggest players out there just saying, instead of building on other rails, we're going to try to do our own thing. And if all of this starts really going, right? And everything Web3 related accelerates, these people are not going to have time to build their own thing. They're just going to go to where they can get onboarded professionally, have potentially the biggest user acquisitions from people on the platform, but how they can start generating that moolah as quick as possible. If you told me that Moonbirds would 20x in 2 months and be the best performing ETH by far at the start of the summer, I would have generally thought you were mentally unwell. Man. So, Pudgy get acquired, and everything goes great. Moonbirds get acquired, everything goes better than expected. I think there's almost going to be a false narrative that starts of we need to sell collections because that's the only way to revive it. Because we could go down a list, and maybe that's something that we should do at some point, of teams and founders switching whatever, and it is borderline irrelevant. Does anything happen quicker? Does the mood shift at all, apart from maybe like a 24-hour sort of vibe? No. It very, very rarely does. So if anybody starts getting on this, oh, we need to fire the people in charge because that's how it's going to fix problems, I don't think that's the way. McDonaldland is back for the first time in decades with a brand new commercial. So here's a world that's all about McDonald's. And I'm trying to think back to when I was younger. I don't know if I even knew McDonald's really had like a brand. I know they had like the Hamburglar and the Grimace character and the jail person, but I don't think I could have ever told you like a story regarding the IP of McDonald's, right? Except for the fact like these characters like exist in this world. And maybe that's me just not going out, not paying attention, whatever. And like moving forward, I mean, I know I'm talking about being a kid, but even now, I couldn't really tell you. However, you see this world, and you're like, what if that could turn into an experience inside of a metaverse, whether it be Roblox, Fortnite, one of these Web3 ones, maybe even Portals? What does it look like? And if these worlds have some kind of fee that's associated with going to them, or just outreach for the brands itself, and everybody's already hanging out digitally online. We used to, you take kids to the McDonald's playground. Well, what if it's now the playground on the iPad or something to that effect? I really think things are going to get shaken up, and it's exciting watching all of that. But that's going to be it for this edition of XFeed. Corwin and Raymond, thank you so much for coming on through. And Corwin, apologies for absolutely crashing out, thinking that we had One Piece already in the space. That'd be a glorious day. But apparently today is not that day. We'll be back tomorrow as per usual. Corwin and Raymond, again, thank you so much. And of course, guys, if you're wanting to have a little bit more content, we have a whole bunch more on the live feed on YouTube, on X page. Take a stroll, and again, the RWA Segments podcast. Check that out. Fun episode today with Adam Gomez. See you tomorrow. Peace. Hi, Snazzy.